What's going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about. What an absolutely crazy day. We have to address it. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So, in our last video, we talked about how this could be the top. And I mean, we were spot on. We were right on the money, guys. So, congratulations if you got puts up here. If you got calls, go ahead and oil up, buddy. It's over for you. All right. So when it comes to the SPY, one thing we were talking about in our last video is how every time we hit this blue trend line, we get bad news. Here, Jerome Powell spoke, sold off. Here, DeepSeek AI news, sold off. Here, tariff news again. And then we got that data this morning and market sold off once again. So it's kind of crazy. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Every single time we hit this trend line leading all the way back to 2021 of November, we sell off or we get bad news and sell off. So it's pretty crazy, right? So your key levels here is 600. We closed above 600, which is a good sign. It's not a great sign, but it is a good sign. Now, me personally, I would not be looking to get calls here. A lot of you are asking me, should we get calls here? Is it okay to start buying here? Me personally, I don't think that's the case. I think you're going to see more downside. Now, if you decide to buy calls here, do your thing, do what you want. I would just set a tight stop loss at 598. But for me, this does not scream buy calls. All right. This screams sell your house. This screams sell your car. This screams tell your family what a disappointment you are if you buy calls here. This screams getting drunk one night, passing out, waking up to what you think is a hot chick just to find out it's a very hot guy. Maybe that's what you're into. I don't know. But, I'm not judging. Okay. But this does not scream buy calls. So if we break below 600, we're heading towards 598. You get below 598, it's going to get very, very domestic. You're looking at a move towards 594, and after that, you're looking at a move towards this gap fill at 584 if you break below 589, which I think is going to happen at that point. But it is important to note on the good side, bulls are very much present here. I mean, you got bulls here, bulls here, bulls here. So they're very much present here. If you're bullish, you definitely want to see these guys step in. Maybe you get a dead cat bounce. I do think that's going to be the case. I think you're going to get some type of, short-lived bounce here. Maybe you start seeing a move towards 605. Bulls start drooling at the mouth once again, start FOMOing in, and then you get another sell-off back towards the downside. So definitely want to be careful here. Again, I'm not looking to buy calls here. I'm not interested in calls here. I don't think it's safe to get calls here. That's just me. It's also important to note that what usually happens on Fridays continues on Mondays. What do I mean by that? Well, usually when Fridays are bearish, Mondays continue that move. When Fridays are bullish, Mondays continue that move. Is it guaranteed? No. Does it happen more often than not? Yes. So you definitely want to be careful here. Now, what will it take for me to be bullish here? Well, we go to quant data and we see that there is positive gamma at 601. So you want to get above 601, not only 601, but 602. And then we can start heading towards positive gamma territory, right? Me, again, I think it's going to be short lived. I think bears are going to step in at any type of dead cat bounce, so you definitely want to be careful here. All right. In regards to upside, I mean, it goes without saying, guys, you just want to reclaim 609, 610 psych level. I mean, and then possibly you start heading back towards all time highs. You start heading towards 614, 616. But for now, it's not looking too good. Okay. It's just not looking too good. So we look at the triple Qs. Triple Qs, same thing, guys. Now, the difference between the triple Qs and the SPY is triple Qs has broken or has closed below a key level. SPY held 600, but triple Qs did not hold 527. So we could be looking at a move towards 524, 525 psych level. You give up 524, you really want these bulls here at 522 to step in right here. So it's a very tight range on the triple Qs, and I mean a very, very tight range. So you definitely want to be careful here, okay? It's probably going to get annoying. I don't think Monday we're just going to plummet to the pits of the earth. I think it's going to just pretty much be some type of consolidation. We may get a dead cat bounce if anything, but otherwise I think it's just going to be a slow move on Monday. I don't think we have any news on Monday, and then Tuesday we'll probably see things pick up, and then Wednesday Nvidia earnings I think is when things are really going to get interesting. So you definitely want to be careful in this area. It's a lot of turbulence in this area, a lot of bulls in this area. So I do imagine they're going to try to hold things up in this area. But once again, this does not scream buy calls. All right. These bears, these are not bears, guys. These are cocaine bears. These are I don't know. These are killer whales. This is a whole different species right here. You do not want to trade against these guys. Now, what would it take for me to be somewhat bullish? Well, again, I want to see SPY reclaim at minimum 602. Not only that, but I want to see ES reclaim 6100. We'll talk about that in a bit. And I want to see NQ reclaim 22,000. Otherwise, I'm not too optimistic for upside from here. It's a very tight range here, guys. You're probably going to get played a lot in this area come Monday and even Tuesday, and then Wednesday we'll probably see things pick up. But in regards to upside, 533 on the triple Qs is what you want to see get reclaimed. All right, you reclaim 533, you're going to head towards 535 cycle level, and then you can start heading back towards previous highs. All right, but if anything, I imagine we're going to retest 533, and then these bears here are going to step in once again if we get bad news, and then we're going to see more downside, possibly form some type of head and shoulder. So you'll have like a shoulder here, head here, and another shoulder here. So again, I'm not interested in buying calls. It just does not look safe to do. NQ. NQ. So this is where things get interesting. This is why I'm leaning more bearish than ever now. And I told you guys, I'm leaning bearish on in the month of February. Were we bullish for the first half? Yes, but I think the second half is going to get pretty ugly. Can that change? Absolutely. But NQ, we had a symmetrical triangle right here, right? The short-term projected move for this symmetrical triangle was 22,400, right where Jerome Powell originally sold off this market, right? Well, we didn't even get there. We didn't even get close to that. We didn't even attempt to break above it. We just sold off. All right. And one interesting thing that's happened today is we've broken back below this symmetrical triangle. That's a very bad sign. So I do think we're going to head lower. 21,700 was one of your key levels. After 21,700, 21,500. Lowest I'm looking at right now is 21,300, right where these guys are. All right, right where these guys are. So I do think that's where we're going to head. Can we get a little retest towards the upside? Absolutely. We could see maybe a retest of 21,800, 21,900, give or take, and then we see a move back towards the downside. So it's not looking good. And remember, I always tell you guys, when you break back into a pattern, chances are you're going to continue in a direction. So one thing I addressed in the last video is that I was not liking how we just continued not only to reject the supply and demand zone here, but we just kept making these small lower highs. And we even made a lower low here. So we just kept rejecting this trend over and over. And I was warning that we could see more downside, and that's exactly what we got. So um, if you don't believe in technical analysis, I mean, maybe this gives you a sign now because I mean, the way the news hits every single time we hit this trend line, I mean, spot on. I mean, it's absolutely insane, absolutely ironic, convenient, whatever. It's crazy. Every time we hit this trend line, we get bad news. Every time we get within this zone where Jerome Powell originally sold out the market, we get bad news. Coincidence? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below. But one thing I want to see in regards to the NQ, reclaim 22K, then I'll start leaning more bullish. ES 6100, simple as that. You can't reclaim 6100, it's not looking too good. Now, in our last video, we talked about how this could either turn into an ascending triangle or this could be a triple top. So far, the triple top scenario is playing out. So we originally were starting off making an ascending triangle. So you had your, flat top here, flat top here, flat top here, higher low here, so on and so forth. But I also said this could be a triple top. Now, neither one was confirmed until you break the neckline, and our neckline for this triple top is all the way at 5,800. So we're pretty far away from that target, so nothing to really worry about just yet. But what is concerning is that you're breaking below the trend of this ascending triangle. Not only that, but you broke below 60/40. You hold below 60/40, chances are you're going to head much lower towards the downside. Lowest I'm looking at is about 5,900. All right, you give up 5,900, it gets it gets really really bad. So right here where these guys are, all right. So you guys know I'm not coping, I'm not making this stuff up. You get below these guys here at 5,900, it's going to get really ugly because at that point you're stopping these guys, these bulls out their position. Okay, you stop these guys out of position, they're going to panic, guys. They're going to panic, and you're going to see FOMO come in regards to the downside, or a lot of selling, not FOMO, selling when it comes to the downside. So you definitely want to see this hold. All right. In regards to upside, once again, you just want to see 6,100 get reclaimed. Until that happens, I got nothing for you when it comes to upside for the ES. VIX. I mean, a lot of you doubted. Let's be honest. A lot of you had your doubts when I kept saying institutions are loading. I got like 3 videos saying this. Institutions are loading up calls on the VIX, and a lot of you were like, "Nah, it's just hedging. This is why it's hedging and everything." And it's always funny when it comes to being bearish. You guys always say it's hedging. When it comes to being bullish, no one ever says it's hedging, right? Anytime I say, yeah, if I say institutions bought SPY calls, no one says anything about hedging. But when it comes to puts or even the VIX calls, you guys are like, yeah, that's hedging. I'm telling you guys, you can't you can't take VIX calls lightly. That's just me. I don't take them lightly. When I see VIX calls and massive VIX calls on the options chain pop up, I take them serious. I tell my Discord members to take it serious all the time. But we go to the Discord, right? Those 29 calls, we talked about this in the video. I showed you guys 29 calls on the VIX. I showed you guys 18 calls, 17.5 calls. I showed you guys so many calls on the VIX, it was insane. And look what's happening. I've also said every single time you get between 14 and 15 on the VIX, what happens? You spike towards the upside. It's happened like clockwork, guys. Right here, you got as low as about 14.3, bounce towards the upside. Here, what was this? 15.7, above 15, but still bounce towards the upside. Here, you got to 15, gap towards the upside. Here, same thing. I mean, every single time the VIX gets between 14 and 15, it gaps or spikes towards the upside. And I've said this multiple times. Okay, so hopefully someone out there took it serious. I know a lot of you trade the VIX, so congratulations to you. You can also argue that this could be an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You got your shoulder here, head here, another shoulder here. I don't think the VIX really follows head and shoulders patterns or anything like that. So take this with a grain of salt. But regardless, one thing we know for sure is that every single time the VIX gets between 14 and 15, you spike towards the upside. So congratulations to those who traded the VIX. I know a few of you always talk about trading the VIX in the comments. But yeah, it's not looking good. So what I will say is that I don't know about 29 because the Discord bot alerted that institutions are in 29 calls for the VIX. I don't know if we're going to get that high, but what I will say is that we're illiquid all the way at around, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So all the way around here at around 27, you're pretty illiquid. Well, actually, you're illiquid towards 33. So I'm wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we could head that high. So we're pretty illiquid up here. So at some point in time, the VIX will need to liquidate this area. When that happens, probably March. I mean, I'm guessing March, considering that institutions loaded up calls for March. So you definitely want to be careful here. And if you want access to these types of trades and these type of alerts, Discord link is in the description below. But yeah, not looking good. The VIX can head higher. I do think short term it's going to head towards at least 21, 23 range. But yeah, I mean, I've said it multiple times. I warned in multiple videos that, yeah, every time this thing gets between 14 and 15, it spikes up. Whether you believe you can plot the VIX or not, it doesn't matter. One thing the VIX does do is follow a pattern. Every single year, it follows a new pattern. Here, last year, every time the VIX got between 12 and 13, it bounced or spiked towards the upside. So every year, the VIX follows a new pattern when it gets between certain numbers. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And so we go to our Discord, and I mean, we had a absolutely banger of a week, guys. I mean, we took profit on Tesla puts. I told you guys about 342.5 strike. We got into 342.5 strike for Tesla. I believe we got into those yesterday. Institutions were loading up on those. We took profit on those. So congratulations, Discord members. IWM. I talked about IWM. Let's actually talk about IWM in a bit, but talked about how IWM is going to head lower if you break below 224. That's exactly what happened. I mean, it's insane. Also, in the community tab, I mean, I pointed this out today in our Discord. We got alerted that institutions are loading up 128 puts March 21st on Nvidia. We got into this play. We took profit on this play. We got in at around 138, 137, and then we took profit at around 134, 135. So congratulations, Discord members. IWM. I talked about IWM in the community tab, rejecting the top of the descending triangle. While yesterday before close, we saw institutions load up on 220 puts for next week. Keep an eye on this one if it breaks 224. I mean, and I put this out today. Okay, I put this out today. I don't know why it says 8 minutes ago. I put this out way before that. But yeah, regardless, I mean, we can look at IWM real quick, and then I'll get you guys up out of here. IWM broke below that descending triangle. Okay, I mean, absolutely crushed it. I mean, congratulations, Discord members, on this. We traded this towards the downside. Absolutely beautiful. Your last line of defense is 217. You break below 217, you're heading towards 213. But I mean, absolutely beautiful play here. I mean, it was easy. It's so easy, guys. We retested this fair value gap right here. We liquidated this fair value gap, and then we just broke down from there like clockwork. So, yeah, easy play. I think IWM could possibly retest the bottom of this descending triangle. So you'll probably see a move like this at around 220, and then you break further down. So I do think you're going to see more downside from the IWM. Possibly the lowest we're looking at short term is about 213, 214, give or take. But yeah, I mean, you're missing out. Discord link is in the description below. I mean, we got into those Nvidia puts, we got into some Apple puts as no, not Apple, April, IWM April 17 puts, 215. We did get into Apple puts as well. That's why I got like a little tongue tied there. But yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a beautiful week for us. So Tesla 342.5 strike. I mean, beautiful. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Absolutely killer of a day. We got Discord members going crazy. A lot of them don't post in winners. They just post like their wins in like random places. But this guy, I think he traded. He was talking about CELH for quite some time, and he made about 1,400 today on that. Another guy made like $9,000 today off SPX. So it's absolutely been crazy. So yeah, Discord link is in the description below. And until the next video, traders, which will probably be tomorrow because I want to make a more detailed video on different stocks. You have you a good one.